Hello, Dragoons and Drag Racers. My name is TV Skyn, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. You join me and the Carnival in Ishgard, which it turns out, weirdly for some reason, is not actually the place we're supposed to be. We need to go back to Thanalan, specifically to the Waking Sands, for reasons that I've forgotten since it's been a while since I played through main story bits. But fortunately, I still have Vesper Bay Aetheryte tickets, so off we go. Oh, right, it was Urianger wanted to see us about a thing? I think he wanted to see us about a thing. Or something. I can't remember. It's probably something to do with the Sultana and the guy. Hey, Elfino. Anything else going on around here? Oh, right, the Shiva Extreme Quest. Let's pick that one up, just to have it. Oh, Lord, there's a lot of them. Let's pick all of those. Just grab them so we have them. It is decided. The stance of the Scions must evolve from shifting sand to unyielding stone. My place, however, is here in this land of unending tragedy. Ere must I remain, until the true nature of the Primals is revealed onto me. Really? Because it seems like you could just go, like... Is there a really important book here? Because you could just bring it. Many seasons did I toil to fashion a net across this vast realm, a net that catches not fish, but nuggets of wisdom more valuable than gold. Yet, even possessed of this hoard of knowledge, I cannot purchase all of the keys to the confounding doors that bar my passage. Thus must I presume to unsheath the blade born of light. Thine is a strength that shattereth the stoutest barriers, and doth pierce that which obfuscates the impotent gaze of ordinary men. We've not the luxury of time required for my measured scholarly pace. For the adder's nest is astir, hissing with the news of Garuda's return. The winds have grown ever more violent, ever more destructive. What lieth behind the sudden waxing of power? The answer may well provide a vital piece of the puzzle of the Primal's existence. I don't know, could it be that a bunch of people gathered a bunch of crystals and summoned her again? I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Mine eyes perceive a looming wall of strife poised to crash down upon our cities with unrestrained fury. For the nonce... That's a... Oh boy, that's a word that also means other things. Okay, alright. For the moment, let's say that, you must pacify the Lady of the Vortex. Swiftly now to the Adder's Nest. High Serpent Commander Heloa will have such details as thou needest to proceed. I shall await thee at Waking Sands and pray for thy success. It's an old word. It has had different meanings over time. It means something else now. Something very different. Amongst Mugglekind, the legend of good King Moggelmog the 12th does tell of a wise and magnanimous ruler. Alas, the entity thus summoned put the lie to this imagining, with his brief and undecidedly unpeaceful reign. 'Twas most disturbing for me to learn, then, that the Moggles' god has once more succeeded in placing their potentate upon his thorny throne. Methinks the agents of chaos doth lurk in the shadows of this deed. Only with the Ascian's guileful intervention could they have called the king back from the ether with such haste. As ever it falls to thee, to the blade born of light, to banish the Paragon's dark ambition from our realm. 12 only know what dire power doth corrupt the saviour of these gentle forest folk. Thy name has been called, Brick. The more moderate faction of the Muggles have joined with the Order of the Twin Adder in order to open thee a path to the good king's domain. I bid thee make haste to the Adder's Nest, and once more pledge thine aid in deposing this royal myth made flesh. Leviathan! The Lord of the World, slain at thy hand, 'twas a deed both heroic and historic, a tale to be told down the ages. Unfortunately, doesn't matter because he's back now. I fear, however, that the terror of the Indigo Deep did slumber but briefly in the ethereal sea. The maelstrom hath assured me the unhappy certitude that Leviathan doth stir from the abyss once more. Should this indeed prove to be the case, then we face a most troubling and chilling predicament. The Lord of the World is a voracious being, naught less than a treasure trove of crystals would serve to lure the entity back to our plane of existence. 'Tis folly then to believe the sea-bound beastman could gather such a haul with such impossible alacrity. The Sahagin, I believe, have been entertaining Ascian guests. A threat of unprecedented magnitude now loometh over Lin Salominsa. Take thee the swiftest road to Maelstrom Command and offer thy stalwart service. Thy shining light must needs illuminate the ocean's darkest swell. By thy high deeds were the people of Caerthas spared certain doom at the hands of a deiform entity. Yet if the missive we received from Lord Drimon of House Durandare speaks true, 'twould seem that hard-won respite have come and gone. Recovered from her wounds, Lady Iceheart hath rejoined the struggle against Ishgard. Worse, 'tis said that her disciples have already laid claim to a hoard of crystals. A hoard far exceeding the quantity but recently wrested from the caravans of House Fortin. 'Tis all but certain that the Heretics' mistress intendeth to call upon Saint Shiva once more. And so, once more, must the Orseer's blade of the... Okay, I get it. Let me just get rid of all these quests. Now we have them, so in case I want to go and do them, it's an option. Okay, Alphino, you had a thing you wanted.
Tataru? Yes, General Rawban is now in safe hands.
What? Another assault?
Very well, we shall return at once. Pray notify the Count of our coming. It would seem we face another crisis. The Dravanians are preparing to resume their siege of the Holy See. Though I'm loath to abandon the Sultana to her fate, we lack the necessary evidence to act upon Dulala's claims. That being the case, I propose we leave Marshal Terrapin and the others to investigate and return with all haste to Ishgard.
Okay.
Ah, there you are. Sorry for cutting your reunion with General Rawban short. I wouldn't have bothered you, but the city is awash in rumors of another Dravanian attack, and Lord Orshifan was desperate to get a hold of you. Speaking of whom, here the others are waiting for you inside, so you'd better head in.
Yes? Just let me in. My friend, thank you for answering our call with such alacrity. As I'm sure you're now aware, the Dravanians are once more gathering for war. Master Ultham, Master Livia, I must apologize for this abrupt summons, but we thought it best to have Mistress Tataru contact you by the most direct means possible. When the observatorium's bell tolls, 'tis a warning that cannot be ignored. The Holy See has ordered that we make ready for battle. Oh, in case you hadn't heard, a band of trappers returning from the west claims they saw a cloud of dragons big enough to dim the midday sky. Needhawk's minions gather once more for war. Hey! Wolfbrim, thank you for subscribing. It's very kind of you. But I would not have you take up arms in another of our conflicts. When first you came to Ishgard, I offered you my protection. If I cannot ensure your safety here, I cannot well accept your aid, much less ask for it. And Cappuccino17, thank you for subscribing.
The game only gets better.
I've been putting some time into it, thank you. Scions of the Seventh Dawn, you are faced with a choice. To remain in besieged Ishgard or seek sanctuary elsewhere. I would not presume to influence your decision, but I must ask that you make it swiftly, lest our enemies force your hand. Why must you stream while I work, Mr. Streamer? I mean, it's Saturday. Don't you have days off? The coming of the Horde spells ruin for Ishgard, but her knights shall fight to the last to shield her citizens from harm. The Observatorium bell have tolled. Either flee this place or make ready for war. How many dragons would it take to darken the midday sky, do you think? 1,000? More? Too many at any rate. I confess, I know not where else you might seek sanctuary, but few places are like to be more perilous than a city under siege.
What will become of this place? And us?
I think we'll be fine, don't worry. Alright, small talk. How narrowly do we avoid a grievous... Okay, he's still on that.
Though we flee to the ends of the world, 'twould seem that no place in this troubled age is free of strife. Once more the Horde descends upon Ishgard, and once more her weary defenders must take up spear and bow. The Count would have us seek shelter from this storm, but I, for one, grow tired of running. If we are to shine the light of dawn, we must do so in the sight of our fellow man, not hunkered in a hole. What say you, Brick?
I would stay and fight, obviously.
Then fight we shall. Never let it be said that we abandon our allies in our hour of need. choice we make this day may have grave implications for our order. It's only right that Tataru should have a say. Come, let us all meet outside and discuss the path that lies before us.
The only thing that kind of sucks about this coat is like the hair clipping through the back of the collar. Kind of wish it didn't do that, but, you know, can't have everything. So one thing about this piece of music, right, like the Shifting Sand, Rising Stones music, like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's particularly memorable or great. Like, I don't have a lot of sort of like, I don't, but what it has become over a long period of association is like, oh, this is the home music. Like, this is home. This is like safe space. This is where the friends are. This is where we rest. This is where peace reigns. And that's pretty cool. Like, that's a pretty good use of music. Like, even if I don't think it's the world's most memorable theme, it's like, oh, okay. Like, once you hear that, you know what it means emotionally, right? Hey, Roy Naro, thank you for subscribing, or resubscribing, rather. I see the customary dance, but at least there's no corpses this time. That's always something. Ah, the Squall Glam. Oh, I like the sword. Like, that's a very simple, easy, simple sword. I have a thing, like, I had a thing with like, Dark Knight, where for a minute there, for quite a while, actually, I wanted to, like, grab the simplest, most basic sword I could think of, but then someone gifted me this one, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna be extra. Like, this is too cool. I can't leave it. And Ender, stop, please. Ender, hey! Thank you for subscribing with Prime. Ooh. That's a fancy coat. That kind of goes with the short hair on this Hrothgar too, actually. Like, sort of coiffed and, like... And with the gloves, also. Man, people have some fucking excellent Here's the thing, I don't know how intentional it is, but here's the thing I like. You see how, like, you have the thing on the left shoulder and then you have the thing on the right eye, how that creates, like, a little bit of, like, like, not a symmetry, but, like, a balance thing in the character design, that there's something on the left and there's something on the right, and then there's something on the right, right? Like, this sort of back and... Like, visually, I find that quite pleasing. That it's like an element on the right, an element on the left, and an element on the right, like that ping pong. I don't know a better way to describe it. Ooh. Oh, that's the hippie coat. I think I have someone gifted me that one as well. The earth tones are a good match for the bow, though. Anyway, Tataru, need to talk to Tataru.
Ishgard cannot well endure another assault. Even should her knights succeed in turning back the Horde, the casualties will be catastrophic.
But what other choice do we have? It's not like we can talk it over with them. Dragons and men aren't exactly on speaking terms.
With certain notable exceptions.
You don't mean Iceheart?
When last you spoke with her, she lamented her crimes, did she not?
Well, sort of, kinda, in a manner of speaking.
Then there remains a sliver of hope. If we can persuade Iceheart to act as our intermediary, we may yet be able to convince Nidhogg to abandon his bloody course.
Yeah, sure.
If there is to be a meeting, I would accompany you.
Oh, hey, buddy. Haven't seen you since I kicked your ass.
Estinian.
Even with your intermediary, Nidhogg's blood rage may render him deaf to reason. However, the mere attempt may afford our forces precious time to prepare. Of course, you might also consider a more direct approach to ending this conflict. With the power of the Eye at my disposal, and the vaunted strength of the Warrior of Light, we could conceivably slay the beast outright.
If we are to risk a face-to-face meeting with the Dread Worm, I for one would feel safer in the company of the Azure Dragoon. However, I should only turn to your lance if my words failed to find their mark. Is that clear?
Perfectly. I shall assume that Iceheart enjoys similar diplomatic protection until instructed otherwise.
No, let's just kill her immediately. Why not? That's a great way to build trust with the dragons.
A word of advice. Think carefully before divulging the particulars of this plan to Sir Emmeric. 'Twould not do to have the Lord Commander accused of consorting with heretics.
Indeed. I thank you for your counsel, Estinian. We shall be honored to have you with us.
Honestly, though, what the hell? What happened between me kicking his ass in the Dragoon quest and him just showing up next to Sir Emmeric like, hey guys, it's fine now. It's cool. No worries. Ishgard, like, we're like totally cool about me stealing the eye and shit. And like becoming a dragon creature for a bit. Like, it's fine. It's cool. No worries. He got better, yeah.
I am glad to be of service.
We have chosen a difficult road, yet even should we succeed in winning Iceheart to our course, our plans for parley would swiftly come to naught should the Holy See decide to strike the first against the Horde. We must petition the Lord Commander's aid ere we set forth. I only hope that Sir Emmeric will be willing to muscle Ishgard's forces on the strength of our vague assurances.
He had a Snickers, yeah.
Tataru, I would ask that you remain at Fort Matter and inform the Count of our decision. Tell him that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn mean to do all in their power to ensure that Ishgard and her people survive.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good lord. I forgot for a second that they were all here. Oh, the umbrella is a nice touch. I do wish that like, Hrothgar weren't, like, doomed to always be so shrimp-backed. Like, that we could have, like, an upright posture even when we run, for example. But, you know, minor things. The umbrella is a nice touch, though. Like a book with that outfit, like, scholar thing. I don't know if you're a scholar specifically, but, like, having the book and, like, having the thing, like, that works well together, like, the weapon and the character. Yeah, exactly. And the character design. Ma'am. That is good-looking Rogadin. It's funny when you see a word with V and try to pronounce it as a W instinctively. Yeah, V and W. Like if you wanna suss me out, if you wanna catch me speaking with my natural accent, V and W is a good place because those are like when a bunch of V's and W's show up in like a row, I usually fuck them up. I might say very well instead of very well, you know.
You would speak with the Lord Commander? Pray make it quick.
I want the defenses of the Outer Ward rechecked. See to it that the ballistas are in good repair and supplied with enough ammunition for a prolonged siege.
That little see to it that the ballistas are in good repair. Did you notice that, like, the vocal fry he put on the end of that word? Man, you would not get that in Realm Reborn.
At once, my lord.
Ah, 'twould seem I have visitors, and unlike those messing beyond our walls, these ones are welcome.
Pray forgive us for interrupting you in the midst of your preparations, Sir Emmeric, but our suit concerns the impending assault. To speak plain, we believe there is a chance the invasion might be halted before it even begins. I can divulge little more at this time, but I must nevertheless request that you advise the Holy See to refrain from launching any preemptive sorties whilst we seek to put our plans in motion.
I will gladly lend my support to any endeavor that could spare the blood of my countrymen, but I would know more of the cause you would have me champion. Will you not share aught of this mysterious undertaking?
know that I have offered my lance to aid in this endeavor. I cannot claim that its success is assured, but our actions should serve to delay Nidhogg's advance at the very least. Which is more than can be said for the ill-conceived counterattack advocated by the sea's more vocal crusaders. They offer glorious death, but little hope of victory.
Again, Estinian, since when the fuck are you so conservative and sensible?
Aye, their proposal does not inspire confidence. Our resources should rightly be spent shoring up the city's defenses. The Azure Dragoon and the Warrior of Light sallying forth together to face the dread worm Nidhogg.
Does he ship us? I think he might ship us a little bit.
I must admit the mere thought of it does much to dispel my misgivings. Go then, carry out your plan. I shall do what I can for you within the Holy See.
He definitely ships us a little bit.
Having secured Sir Emmeric's support, we may proceed without fear of a preventive Ishgardian attack, which is not to say that we can afford to dither. History tells us that Dravanians will attack as soon as their horde reaches a critical size. Before that happens, we must needs track down and win over Lady Iceheart, and then locate and parley with Nidhogg. In short, time is against us. If you're ready, Estinian, let us be about our task.
La 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 la! Wow, what a non-ominous office for the Elf Pope.
Such commotion.
Yes, Your Eminence. The bells of the Observatorium warn of our enemy's approach.
So, the dragons are coming. Let them come, in their hundreds and their thousands. With the divine blade in our hands, we shall rend their flesh and drown the heretics in their master's blood. Even Nidhogg and his foul brood shall be powerless to resist us.
That's the kind of speech I always like to give when I'm the good guy.
And when we have rid the world of their pestilence, we shall turn our attention to our Ascian allies. See that they are suitably rewarded for their invaluable assistance.
If I may, Your Eminence, the Paragons wield powers strange and unknowable. Can we be certain that they will not see through our deception?
No.
We can be certain of naught save the righteousness of our cause. If you would be a true leader of men, you must possess conviction as well as caution. We seek to excise the root of an evil that has blighted us for 1,000 years. The risk is worth the reward.
And what of Estinian and this Warrior of Light? They have plans of their own.
Leave them to their purpose. We must each play the role we have been given. You and your chosen brothers most of all.
Hey, that's an interesting outfit.
Glory of King Thornton.
King Thornton, yes. He seems nice. I like him. I will say this for your plan. It has made keeping secrets from the Holy See seem almost entertaining. Aw, a little wind-up elf, you know. Aw.
Before we set forth, we must needs inform Tataru of our plans.
Then I shall await you at St. Renet's Forum. Tell your friend we may be some time. The road you have chosen is neither short nor easy.
Of that I need no reminding. Come, Brick, let us head back to Fortum Manor.
Aw. Man. I really am privileged that I can just walk outside of a building and then there's just a avalanche of hot people there to greet me. It's just like real life should be like that, don't you think? Oh, I like the headband. Are there like feathers attached to that? Is that? Oh, that's just your hair. Okay. The headband is a good touch here. Like just sort of like that dark surface cutting across like the pure white of the fur. Because like that, yeah, that covers really nicely with the rest of the outfit too. I like that. You could do something with the earrings. Like I think yeah, the earrings and the choker, like a bright red might contrast better. Like yellow and white are like, they don't pop that much from each other. If you wanted those things to pop, you could go with red. You could also just make them pure white or pure black to sort of fit into the rest of the outfit more. But like, that's a really solid. Yeah, like so the headband thing there is brilliant. That's excellent. Will you still review people's glam on stream, or will it be just Discord pixel? I mean, if this is for if people like if someone is not on the EU data center and can't show up, and they do the channel points thing, it'll be for that specifically. Because like on stream, mostly I just review the glams that I can. Like you see me get distracted and stop and talk about them. But like for the moment, it'll just be for people who can't show up in person to get reviewed. But it's for the channel points thing, and I'll get to you in a second, Eidolon Fox.
Our course is set, Tataru. It may be some time before Brick and I return to Ishgard.
Well, you just be careful, all right? Oh, and don't worry about me. I'll be busy listening out for news of our lost friends.
If anyone could find them, it's you, Tataru. Farewell, for now.
Oh, before you go, you must put this on, Alphino. I made it specially.
No, I couldn't possibly... Oh, very well.
Hey, a fashion upgrade. Oh, looking slick there, little buddy.
Hey, the 12, it fits perfectly. And the quality's actually rather good.
I'm glad you like it. I've been practicing my needlework while I listen to rumors and the like. A good receptionist is always learning new skills.
My thanks, Tataru. Whatever else awaits me upon the road, I shall not fear the cold.
He's now dressed better for the weather than I am.
'Twas the least I could do. Now, I must be getting back to the tavern, or I'll never catch up with all the gossip. Best luck on your journey.
I mean, Ulfgrim, you're welcome to post your glams in there for other people to see. Absolutely. But, like, specifically on stuff, in terms of, like, reviewing stuff on stream, it's just for the channel points. Okay. We have the test one from Eidolon. So... Ta-ta. Yeah. So there's a, like, you have the, like, a strong blue. Like, there's a strong blue tint all over the... all of the armor set that sort of continues into the gray that sort of like crisscrosses across the, and that's an interesting because like that's the thing we talk about in terms of like creating a contrast with the bright red accents on the hair is interesting and quite cool. I like the elaborateness of the armor. So I think my recommendation would be to, if at all possible, post like full body so I can see the boots and stuff as well. But no, this works. And that's a really cool... It is harder to do when I can't walk around people and see everything, but that's pretty cool. Oh, the red. One thing you could do, you could change the hue of the hair accent a little bit to match the gem that's inset in the Reaper thing, the scythe. Because that's more of a sort of purple-ish, like it's a little bit colder, it's a little bit more blue. If you could match that, I think that would create like a really good affinity between the hair and the weapon. that would sort of tie it together completely, but this is like a pretty damn solid little piece of armor. Also, someone asked if they were allowed to put modded glams in there, and that's fine by me. Like it's not like I'm giving people grades or ratings or anything, so it's not like it'll give you a competitive advantage or whatever. And yes, you're allowed to throw multiple screenshots in there, obviously, because they show off different parts of the character. That'll be helpful for talking about it. I might need to set up a better way to bring them into the stream, though. I thought I had such a clever idea. I thought it was so smart, and then it turned out it didn't work the way I wanted it to. No. Aw, is that a little tiny kitty cat? Aw, that's adorable. Precious babies. Ooh. Oh, that's a cool mask. Oh, that's really... Oh, it has, like, the thing... And you've managed to color coordinate, like, the accent on the thing with the hair and the... Like, that's nice. Nicely done. That's really nicely done. Oh, the mask is cool. Like, again, because, like, it's an opportunity to put, like, a specific color on the face. Yeah, that's like, because that's sort of essentially, and then you have the red gems, and then the like that kind of syncs up with the color of the hair. That's a nice way to tie it together. That's just sexy. I approve of that. Ooh, nice. Yeah. The only thing that would improve that would be high-heeled sandals, which I don't know if Hrothgar can have that. Like I mean, like stiletto, like really tall heels. Well, maybe not stiletto heels, but like tall heels that sort of bring the posture up a little bit. But I don't know if Hrothgar can even have that. That's. Oh, is that the Valentine? Is that the Valentine's Day hat? I think it might. I think I've seen it. It might be the Valentine's Day hat, maybe. That works really well with the coat, though. That's like one of those... That's one of those big Ishgardian noble house coat things that we've already seen Edmund and Sons wearing. I like that in combination with the tartan on... Or the whatever that pattern is called on the umbrella. It really... Like, that thing essentially acts as a kind of bowler hat, and you sort of get the vibe of like a sort of Victorian British gentleman kind of thing. Quite like that. It's really cool. Anyway, you must not be distracted too much. Let's see. Where's he at? He is down south. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. Alas, the only heals from 2B and those shorten your legs since all characters need to retain their height. Boring! That's boring, Square. But it's also, like, it's not really about the height. It's more about, like the thing that heals do for a person is it forces them up on their toes, and then that changes the posture, right? Like, that changes, like, the way that your pelvis is oriented relative to your spine. And, like, that's the thing that would be cool, is if like, you could alter the posture of your character. A sparrow? I like sparrows. Little birds. Hang on, let's have a look at that. Little tiny bird. Oh, look at you. Little thing. Itty bitty tiny bird. Oh, they perch on the shoulder? Oh, I'm gonna wait for that. Absolutely. Like, do you just have to sit there? Do a beckon on it. Okay. That does not seem to have had an effect. Oh, there we go. It needed to wait for me to take on my... Oh. Dog. That is very cute. That is very adorable. Yeah, Bastion and Ganymede, a little bit like that, Anyway, Estinian. Not for nothing, like, I like your sort of dark and edgy edgelord shtick, but these people have you beat on glams. Like, honestly, you could do better, buddy. You've said your farewells, then.
Aye, we're ready to depart. I suggest we begin our search for Lady Iceheart without delay.
Very well, but she will prove an elusive quarry. Where do you intend to start looking?
In the absence of any fresh intelligence on East Hale's movement, I propose we pick up the trail where she was encountered last, the Curth's Western Highlands. Let us speak with Sir Redwald, was it? As the commander of the Falcon's Nest, it's like that he will know if any heretic activity has been reported in the area.
Okay, to the Falcon's Nest, then. I like how much more voice acting there is in Heavensward as well. Like, there's just way more scenes that get voice acting, which is good for me because it lets me save my voice. Oh, right, my mounts. Yes, right. We can go on the thing here. Fancy. Still can't fly. I did go around and grab the etheric winds that were available. Like, just the ones that were so, like, out in the open. But I haven't done the quests to get the rest of them yet. But cool. And then there's you. Oh, good lord. Oh, that's one of the, that's one of the Ixion riffs. Like, this is essentially the same character design as Ixion from Final Fantasy XII. Just, with a fire theme on top of it rather than lightning. And there we have the lightning versions, yeah. It's a funny little horse design, too, because, like, its legs are so small. It's tiny little legs. It's little tiny stubby legs. It's almost like a corgi a little bit, isn't it? Like, with his little bitty tiny stubby legs. By rights, the legs should be a lot longer relative to the body. Oh, that's cool. Boy, that's extra. I like the posture on Brick as he sits there, though. Like, sort of leaned back in a proper equestrian pose. Oh, good lord, there's a lot of them. Thank you for those. Anyway, dude. What voice did I give him? I don't remember. Well, Master Ulfin, what business brings you back to Falcon's Nest? Judging by the company you keep, it can be no trifling matter. This is your dragoon, I know, of course, but I don't believe I've met this young gentleman.
Alpha No Levelier, at your service, and as you are not mistaken to the gravity of our mission, Sir Redwald, as I'm sure you're aware, the Observatorium has warned that the Dravanians gather for another assault. I believe there may yet be a way to avert the coming conflict, but only if we can find the elusive Lady Iceheart. Thus have we come to Falcon's Nest in the hope of acquiring the latest intelligence of the Heretics' movements.
I see. Well, then you'd be best served with speaking directly to my men. A patrol is due to return from its sweep of the surrounding lands at any moment. You may also wish to question the knights assigned to pick over the remains of the heretic refuge at Gorgane Mills. It is possible they've unearthed information that could be of use to you. Master Ulfin knows well the place to speak of, for it was he who first discovered it. Let us divide our forces, then. I will stay and await the return of the patrol while you two visit this refuge. When I've completed my inquiries, I will join you there.
A wise use of our time. Come, Brick. I'm eager to learn what Sir Redwald's men have found in the Heretic's lair.
Master Ulfin, our findings, you say? There's something of a tale there. No sooner had we chanced upon a promising-looking sheaf of letters than we were ambushed from the shadows by great white beasts. 'Twould seem the heretics foresaw our coming and left behind their pets to discourage further investigation. Several of our number were, badly wounded.
And you cannot carry out your duties until the creatures are slain. We've not the time for wait for reinforcements. Let us deal with these pets ourselves, Brick. Oh dear. The creature took me by surprise. Forgive me. Until my hand stops shaking, I fear I shall prove more of a hindrance than help. Pray go on ahead, and when you're certain that the rest of these things have been slain, notify the expedition leader that it's safe to return.
Alphino, really? Oh, hey! Aw. You always take up such good places. Like, you always have a good sense of where to put yourself. Never talk to me or my son ever again. So once again, this symbolic representation of the joining of people and dragons. Interestingly, it's patterned a little bit after, fuck, what's it called? That crozier, specifically the one that's like a signal, the caduceus, yeah. Right, the staff that's a symbol of medicine, which, I don't know if that's maybe presaging the idea that in order for Ishgard to heal, that men and dragons must come together in peace and harmony rather than like remain in constant wartime conflict. The beast is slain, then. My thanks, Master Altham. We may return to our duty without a fear of mauling. Hey, Mini Alphino. You wish to track down Lady Iceheart, is this not so? The records we discovered near those beast mauled my comrades appear to be some matter of correspondence. We not in the luxury of perusing their contents more closely, intent as we were on surviving an onslaught of fang and claw, but I'd wager those epistles contain more than friendly salutations betwixt lonely heretics. It would be very funny if you, like, got the heretics' letters and you read them and they were just like, you up? What are you doing? Nothing. Haha. My interrogation of the patrol proved fruitless. Either we divine some clue from these letters, or we wander the snowfields and pray that the gods lead us right to Iceheart's door. 'Tis hardly a choice at all. Let's see, what does this one say? Oh my fucking god, that body of yours is absurd. This man has no game. Have you recovered much of the Heretics' correspondence? Splendid. Added to the contributions from Master Levier and Sir Estinian, we now have more than a dozen letters. What have we here then? Every one of these pages is a record of dealings between the Gorgain Meal Heretics and their fellows in the Alpha Amphitheater. There are requests for foodstuffs, clothing, and all manner of provisions. Iceheart's followers must just inhabit the ruins we thought abandoned.
The Alpha Amphitheater. The very place where you witnessed the manifestation of the Primal Shiva, was it not?
If that is our destination, the journey will be long indeed. The amphitheater lies on the other side of a treacherous tract of ice and snow that cannot swiftly be crossed.
Then we must place our faith in the Ethernet. As you may recall, our dear friend Moonbreeder succeeded in recreating the Alpha beacon after it had been destroyed by Lady Iceheart. At the time, it was assumed that the resultant Aetherite would only be temporarily viable, but given that the heretics of Gorgain Mills seem to have been in regular contact with their brethren at the amphitheater, I'll wager it still functions. I suggest we make for the Aetherite within Snowcloak without delay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Estine, but in the course of mapping the Snowcloak tunnel system, a passage was discovered leading out into the Western Highlands, was it not? Might it be possible for us to reach the Aetherite from this side of the wall?
It should. House Durndare posted soldiers in the Western Highlands entrance after the tunnels were cleared, but they will not deny us entry. Off we go, then. It's only after level 60 when you start gaining abilities naturally without having to do quests, someone says in a message. Okay. Well, we should probably make time for the class quests at some point, then. So that I can have, like, my full array of abilities. Actually, that mount is a really nice fit for that outfit, too. Because, like, again, like, with the sort of like, wealthy, noble gentleman kind of thing, like, vibe a little bit going on with fashion, especially those gloves, it makes sense to have, like, a really sort of finally appointed, barded steed to ride upon. Ooh. Oh, okay. Okay. Eye is above waist level, I see. That's quite nice, though. Like, I like that coat. That overcoat. Like, the shoulder pauldrons may be a bit much, but that also kind of makes sense. Under the circumstances. Yeah. Ooh. Now, there's a simple one. Like, simple but, like, effective. Like, that works, again, with the hairstyle. Because, like, you have this, like, this buttoned-up suit, like, very sort of sensible, like, sort of baseline mask, and, like buttoned up and put together. And then you have the hairstyle where it's, like the sides are buzzed, and then you have the hair, like, pulled up in a tight knot behind the head. Like, that, there's a good sort of coherence between the vibe of the outfit and the vibe of the hair. Because, like, again, imagine the alternative. It was completely wild, unkempt, like, caveman hair. Then it would sort of clash with the outfit. That can still make a good character design, of course, but it's a different vibe, right? Is this a fashion design? We do that. I get distracted. People show up with amazing glams, and I can't help but look at them. But no, I'm actually technically trying, Neptim, to get through the story. I'm just, I just have concentration issues.
Yeah, the guests of House Falcon, accompanied by the Azure Dragoon, no less. I cannot imagine what brought you out this far, but you're welcome to enter the tunnels, if that is your will.
Assuming the Al-Akfa beacon still functions, and we must pray to the 12th that it does, we shall arrive at our destination in mere moments. Though do not expect to be greeted by the Primal Shiva, we should nevertheless be prepared for a frosty reception.
Haha, Elf, you know.
The Heretics not like to rejoice at the appearance of uninvited guests, particularly ones with our history.
Off I go, then.
An impressive structure. I wonder how many ages it has endured.
Mayhap you should ask its occupants. They seem a friendly bunch. Hello. We'd like to chat.
Dogs of Ishgard! Is it not enough that you banish our beloved saint? Will you not be satisfied until the ice is slick with the last drops of our blood?
Stay your weapons. We come under the flag of parley. We only wish to speak with your mistress that we might broker a peace.
Yeah, they'll buy that.
Do you think us fools, boy? It'll take more than honeyed words to earn our trust. You walk with the Dragon Slayer, and we all too well what he is capable of.
My reputation precedes me. I mean, that's your own fault, Destinian, frankly.
They give us little choice.
Come, brothers, may dragon wings bear us to victory!
Really wouldn't mind if you'd stop doing that. Oh, they look cool, though. Little bit World of Warcrafty, I will say, but I like the horns and like that. The sort of, they have these half-formed wings, as though they're not quite complete, right? As though they're not quite true dragons, in a sense. Okay, he's a little different. And yet still, no true wings. Okay, there's a couple of glams on the Discord that I should take a look at, but first...
They fight like demons. 'Tis death to remain. Fall back, brothers. Retreat to the Cinders.
Yes, call out to the place that you're retreating to. That'll be good. That'll smart. Good information security there, buddy.
I see no sign of Lady Iceheart. Would that we could have questioned one of them.
What would you ask that we do not already know? They make for the Cinders, and so must we. Even should an ambush await us, 'tis certain there will be more heretics to question.
The Cinders, you say? I confess the name is unknown to me. Mayhap you would be so good as to enlighten us, Estinian.
I suspect 'tis the Heretics' way of referring to the Dreamin' Dragon, an island of sorts found in the midst of the frozen lake of Ashpool. Some 500 years passed. 'Tis told that the Azure Dragoon of the Age fought a dragon of titanic proportions. After a savage struggle, the mighty creature was weakened onto the point of death and forced into a magic slumber by an entire chapter of Holy See sorcerers. Ere long, a rain of ash and cinders did begin to fall upon the sleeping serpent's motionless form, covering the creature at length in a shroud of grey. Of course, a thick layer of ice has since formed on top of it, but you may be sure I speak true.
A fascinating tale. We should make haste to this Ascian Isle.
Okay. Right then. So they say they wanted a battle-scarred pirate swordsman type. Yes. Because that was actually the immediate impression that I got from the front shot of this character was specifically, oh, this is like a pirate thing. Like, this has sort of that pirate vibe. And that comes, like, a lot from what you've done with the wild hair and, like, the necklace and the open chest. And, like, the sort of the big fringes of the coat. Do a really good job of doing that. Yeah, so you're not sure about the arm pieces. I think you're right about that. I think you might want to go, like... I think fingerless is the right way to go with the gloves. Absolutely. But I think you might want... Yeah, it's hard because you want something that coordinates okay with the color scheme of the rest of the suit, right? So red, white, gold, black are sort of the colors that you have to work with, but maybe some half gloves, like, that sit... like down on the front of the hand. I don't know how long the sleeves of that coat are. You could also go gloveless. You could also do that and then just like rely on the rings to sort of carry it. I think, in fact, if you did go gloveless and just had like rings, like some really bright, fancy rings with colors that clash with the rest of the outfit, like green, bright purple, bright yellow, that might do the trick for you. Or if you could find some kind of glove that like adds more rings or adornments or gold or something to the hands and the upper arms, that might do the job for you as well. But the rest of it, really what you've done with the face especially, like with the scarring and with like all the detailing on it and like the wild hair, that does a really good job of getting the character vibe across that you're describing. It really does. You could also give him boots. You could, like, I don't know if that's possible for you, but if you give him boots with heels, that also brings across a little bit of the pirate vibe. I don't know how well that's going to show up under that particular coat there, but that is an option. Like, if you wanted to try something that brings a little bit more of the classic 1800s Western pirate thing into it, that's definitely an option. And then there was Eren Jaeger. The weapon has a moving glow. Okay. Okay, we can't quite see it from there, but some more... Ah, there's some close-ups. Okay. Oh, yeah. So it's very popular, it seems, to have, like, black hair with red accents. I've seen that on a lot of characters by now. And I can see why, because, like, black and red are like, a winning combination all the time. Hey, GIF. Nice. And here, like, as we talked about before, that creates a really compelling contrast with... like, with the rest of the outfit, because the rest of the outfit is mostly tinged neutral or cold, like blue, and so the red, like, really stands out against that. That also means that visually the character is a little bit in conflict with... the outfit that they're wearing. They're a little bit in conflict with their weapon. And that's sort of like, that's something you have... I think you should do that intentionally. Like, you should intentionally want to have the look of your character, like, that should be something you do on purpose. It shouldn't be something you just do on accident, essentially. Because that's when a design runs the risk of being incoherent. But if it's on purpose, if it's a thing of, like, I want my character to contrast a little bit against the outfit that they're wearing, I want my character to seem like, okay, there's something else going on with them than what's going on with their gear, that's a really good way to do it. And that's just in terms of, like, visual storytelling. It depends on, like, whether, like... The most important thing is that your character looks cool, right? Like, I don't want any of these, like... I don't want these design reviews to ever be like, oh, I'm prescribing to you how you should design your own character. It's more in terms of, like, I'm talking from the perspective of character design. I'm talking from the perspective of, like the specific things that go into visual storytelling. And that's, like, it's a question of the story you want the design to tell to other people, the communication you want it to do. And then, let's see. Discord Glam review. White Mage Glam by Joan. Ah, there. Yeah, okay. Could you post some slightly more close-up shots of her, perhaps? Something a little bit more akin to, like, up close like this. So I can get, like, a better look at like, the character. Because just the way that I've got things set up right now, I can't zoom in, unfortunately, on images. So I can only kind of go with what I have access to, which is not a lot. Okay, so this is black hair with an orange accent. That's interesting. And that's interesting because, like, red would have been a perfect, like, thing to sort of synchronize with the white-red of the traditional white mage gear. I do like black hair on a white mage, though. You can't see it? Oh, shit. Right. I need to... Damn it. There we go. Haha! I am a good streamer. I know what I'm doing. So there's orange accents on the hair here, which I think is quite curious. Because that sort of, like, that works with the weapon, as far as I can tell. Like, the weapon has that orange tint on it, too. So, like, that sort of brings the character into... That's a good way to sort of bring coherence into that. And then the weapon ties the orange back to, like, the white and the black that sort of dominates the rest of the outfit. That's pretty good. Professional streamer indeed. Yes, I am good at technical things. Okay. That's quite cool. Yeah. I like that. Like, the points are like, because I know with white mage glams, like the big robes, they cover almost all of the body, so it sort of limits it limits what you can really do, frankly. Like, it sort of puts a big limit on how much customization you can add on top of that. So I think you could, if you wanted to do more to make the character stand out, you could find some really outrageous boots that really sort of stand out. You could find some gloves that are like a bright color. Like any kind of headpiece, like maybe like one of those fancy eye masks, like those like metal headpieces that people have on their faces kind of thing. You can do things there to sort of make the character more, like, pop more, make them more outrageous. Again, it depends on the storytelling you want to do about the character. Because here, what I'm getting is sort of a quiet... Like, I'm getting a sense of a sort of conservative character. I'm getting a sense of a character who's, like, who has their own personality, but who mostly sort of keeps it down, and not someone who's, like, who has, like, a wild, outrageous inner soul that sort of strains to poke through the uniform of their job kind of thing. And if that's what you're going for, like, again, you have done it successfully, I think. At least in my opinion. Sadly, you can't have glam-specific hair colors, so you have to do decent to all glams hairstyles and colors, not specific to all glams. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the Final Fantasy things, right? Like, so you'd have to go and get it changed at the stylist to change it for each one. But, like, that's a thing of, like... That's just something you can do. Like, I really like it when hair and, like, tattoos and makeup and stuff, like, when that all comports with the glams and the outfits. That's just something I really enjoy. But, of course, it's not at all mandatory. So, if you've enjoyed hanging out in the world of Final Fantasy XIV with me and the and the carnival of fashion enthusiasts that follow me around, you can hit the like, comment, and or subscribe buttons down below. If you want to watch the full VODs of these streams, including the stuff that goes on between episodes that doesn't make it into the episodes on YouTube, you can go on over to Twitch and either just show up for the recordings. They happen usually on the weekends. Or you can become a subscriber on Twitch, which will give you access to the full VODs of the entire streams. If you want to watch the episodes on YouTube early, become a member of the channel because that gives you early access. And that is all of the self-promotion I have to do. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to be kind to one another, have solidarity with those who are worse off than yourselves, and may the tides of history wash gently over us all.